executives. Funny breed. What they may lack in dress sense, they more than make up for with brand loyalty. See that guy over there? He started out in business with a little Mercedes 190, and he's going to stick with Merc until the day he dies. He'll just get bigger and better models as he moves up the corporate ladder. And what about that bloke? He's got a Jag, and it wouldn't matter if Lexus sent round half-naked Fijian girls to rub exotic oils into him every night. He is not going to change. 90% of these people will stick with the same manufacturer year after year after year. Unfortunately, what all this means is that if you've got a Jaguar or a Mercedes or a Lexus, for the next few minutes, you're going to be bored rigid. Yes, this new 5 Series is designed primarily for people who already go to their lodge meetings in an old 5 Series. And if I know my BMW drivers, and I think I do, the first question they're likely to ask is a simple one.
Oh, for sure, yeah. The 2.3 is a bit of a tortoise, but this has 2.8 litres of farm-fresh double cream with the power of absolute vodka.
It gets from 0 to 60 in 7.5 seconds and does 145 miles an hour. That's fast enough to keep Diana ahead of the paparazzi. Next question, please. Are you kidding? This is the first car in the world whose undersides are made entirely from aluminium, and that has a dramatic effect. In any car, there's a worrying moment of instability between turning the wheel and feeling the car actually settle into the bend. Now, in a Ferrari, the moment is virtually instantaneous. In a Lada, it's over in about 2-3 years, something like that. But this is as good as saloon cars get. No matter what the hazard, it reacts like lightning. Good brakes, good handling, and good ride comfort combine to make this a very relaxing car to drive, even if you're going quickly.
Ooh, cows! See the cows?
Of course there is. When you're on your own and feeling lazy, you drive this car just like an automatic.
But when Jenkins from accounts climbs on board, you slide the lever over here, and you have manual control. To change up, you push it forwards. To change down, you pull it back. I have to say this is probably the best of the so-called semi-automatic gearbox systems because it has 5 speeds as opposed to the Porsche, which has 4. But this one does think it knows best. Look at this. I want to go in 5th, and it keeps telling me I have to go in 4th. Look, I'm the boss here. Who won the war anyway?
Well, not really, no. But I do wish that BMW wouldn't glue MFI veneer to the dashboard.
Barbara Cartland can't play football, and the Germans can't make wood look good in a car, so why do they bother? And what's that wine gum doing stuck to the rear-view mirror? And look at this piece of cotton dangling off the steering wheel.
Well, for once, it's not bad. This 528 comes with traction control and all the toys for £30,000. But best of all, for the first time in living memory, BMW has provided a stereo as standard. Hello? Hello, all you Jaguar, Mercedes and Lexus drivers. Did you hear that? I'll play it again, all right? For the first time in living memory, BMW has provided a stereo as standard. Surely, it can't be true. But it is, and better than that, it's one of the most sensible systems I've ever found. An on-off switch the size of a walnut.
volume control on the steering wheel, and buttons which are big and easy to understand. You're not fiddling around with a cocktail stick in the middle of the night trying to find Radio 4. Marvellous. Now that I have the attention of all right-thinking people, no matter what you drive, can I ask you to stay with me till dawn, because there's something else you need to see. Good night. Morning. Now, I turned the engine off about 12 hours ago, so it's stone cold. Now, ordinarily, I'd be waiting 7 or 8 minutes for the heater to start working, but not in this. Almost immediately, hot air is dribbling through the vents. Apparently, there's a sort of thermos-type thingy somewhere behind the dashboard which can store the engine's heat for up to 2 days. It's a £700 option at the moment, but it's got to be worth it.
This is a damn fine car which is bristling with world firsts and good ideas. I still can't see it pulling in too many Mercedes or Jaguar drivers because of what it stands for, because of that 80s image. But it's easily good enough to keep BMW drivers smiling a smile the size of Cheshire.
You know, that 5 Series is so complete these days, I think a postscript is necessary here. See, I can't think of a single reason why anyone would want to buy a 7 Series instead. Maybe if I go for a drive, I'll think of something.
This top-of-the-range model has the most sophisticated computer TV combo outside of Bill Gates' office.
So what difference does it make? Oh, what difference does it make?
It has a V12 engine and a long wheelbase, but is it worth £40,000 more than a 528?
But I'm still fond of you. Oh.
Nope.
People try to put us to down, talking about my generation, just because we get around, talking about my generation. Before I get old, memory brushes the same.
Well, what a surprise. Here I am in a great car on a good road, and who do the gods plonk in front of me but the oldest, slowest driver for 400 miles around? Oh, come on! Poor old pensioners. They don't half get some stick. Mind you, a lot of them don't really have a leg to stand on. They're so busy complaining about litter and the price of cat food that they drive the wrong way up the motorway and all sorts. Even worse, in a recent AA survey, only a quarter of old folk admitted that they should limit their driving to pushing a shopping trolley round the post office. The rest, the overwhelming majority, thought they were safe at the wheel. Dear, oh dear, what a to-do. There are some pensioners, however, who defy all the laws of genetics. Really, the best way to describe them is turbocharged freaks of nature. Just have a look at Car 800. The driver, Roy Goodman, has been collecting his pension for a few years now, but at weekends, while his mates settle down to some fly fishing, old Roy, naturally, toddles off for a spot of stock car racing.
This is the 43rd year. I've been doing it ever since it came into the country in 1954. It's a little bit harder nowadays. Some of the younger drivers have got good equipment, probably better equipment than I've got, but with my experience, I still managed to work my way through them.
You must have notched up some achievements over the years.
Yes, I have. In 1963, I was world champion, and I was national point champion for 6 years, straight on the trot, one year after the other.
Even the young drivers find it tough going, trying to control 150 mischievous horsepower at 70 miles an hour, while everyone else on the track is trying to send you to Valhalla. But Roy and his false teeth remain contenders. Last season, he still notched up several wins.
He's getting on a bit now, but you can never discount Roy from a race. A lot of people started the same age as me. We were all sort of 16, 17 when we started. It takes you a couple of years to learn how to drive, more than anything, but Roy's got the benefit of experience, which is something that we have to learn. And sometimes it's a very expensive experience when you keep crashing.
I keep saying, when are you going to retire? But I don't feel as if I want to retire yet. I still enjoy the sport too much.
Well, I was going to ask you that myself. I mean, why don't you go fishing or something?
Oh, it's an old man's sport, that is.
I'd like you to meet a gentleman called Maurice Reeves. Now, Maurice has got all the old codger accessories, such as grey hair, a pension book, and a bus pass. However, he still prefers to potter about in his trusty Nissan. Is it a Bluebird? Is it a plane? No, it's a Skyline GTR.
Some of these days and it won't be long. Gonna drive back down where you once belonged. In the back of a dream car, 20 foot long. Don't cry, my sweet, don't break my heart. Doing all right, you've gotta get smart. Wish upon day, I believe, oh Lord, I'll believe all the way.
Four-wheel drive, twin turbo,
No.
four-wheel steer, Japanese Wonderbird. In Australia, they call it Godzilla, and this is one of the quickest cars you can ever buy. It's got 280 horsepower in it.
280?
280 horsepower, but of course I have, should we say, modified it slightly.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
It hasn't got 300 horsepower. It hasn't got 350.
No.
It hasn't got 400 horsepower.
No.
It's got 420.
Oh, 20!
And it goes like it.
Mad old Luke. 420. Oh my God, Max migrates means Mad Max.
But on Sunday morning, surely he swaps it for a cloth cap and a golf cart. No, he does not.
I rallied in the 50s with Pat Moss and Vic Elford, two fantastic drivers. And from then onwards, I went circuit racing, and then with my son Trevor, rallycrossing. And then when he retired, I came out and did the tracks again.
The man is amazing. He's so competitive. He's just got it, just wants to make everything go quicker. That's why he's got these cars. I mean, they are so fast. They are just unbelievable. And something that's road legal as well. He definitely cuts it amongst the quick boys.
You don't feel like you're slowing down and
No, I don't. No. I'm young still, you know. I'm not that old. I'm only 66. Oh, coming up.
And to prove his point, the man who as a teenager fancied Vera Lynn took me round the track.
When I've got my bowels in order, I'll tell you about this car. This one has got 500 horsepower, it's 300 pounds lighter, and it's going to be about another 150 lighter in a minute when I jump out. How much quicker is it than the other one?
Oh, a lot quicker. This car is capable of close to 180 to 200 miles an hour.
200 miles an hour. 0 to 60?
0 to 60, they're around about 2.5, 3 seconds. And it's got four-wheel drive, unlike a two-wheel drive car, where if you get into a slide at, say, 100 miles an hour, you have to back off.
Yeah.
This car, you keep your foot on the accelerator, and it'll pull you through the corner like a four-wheel drive. Well, that's the theory behind it. Move over, Tim. Coming through.
Yeah. That's Tim Harvey in there, the touring car maestro, and we just blew him away.
I haven't seen his reaction slow down at all. I mean, he is well in control. I think it's more a mental thing. At speed, it's the brain's ability to cope with the information as you're processing it. And he's relaxed behind the wheel, he's coping with it effortlessly. There are a lot younger people who drive their cars with white knuckles like this at slower speed. So mentally, he's very agile and no problems.
Have you ever thought of driving one of those sunshine variety coaches?
No, that's for old people.
Exactly. I think the camera battery might have faded now, Maurice.
Okay, we'll put in the next one, okay?
Oh, I think that one worked. Fell for that one. Oh, I'll tell you,
If you've got any elderly relatives who've seen one too many Starsky and Hutch, don't contact us. Just lock them in the attic.
Different, distinctive, idiosyncratic even, Saabs are anything but mainstream. Like this latest 900 Turbo with its clutchless gear change and slippery shape. This sharp-suited projectile may look like a prince, but to trace its origins first we need to start with a frog.
And here it is, the 92B, and one of the very earliest offerings of the company that goes by the unlikely name of Svenska Aeroplan Acti Bolaget, or Saab to you. Weird by name, it was certainly weird by nature. It had a 28 brake, two-stroke engine, freewheel gearbox, clutchless gear change and front-wheel drive, which for 1949, when the world was just getting over the excitement of Brill Cream, was seriously hip.
Best known for making aircraft, at the end of the Second World War, Saab turned their aeronautical ingenuity towards cars. That wind tunnel-tested teardrop shape might look gawky now, but compared to its contemporary rivals, which had all the aerodynamics of church pews, the 92 was dead swish. Within months of its launch, it had won Sweden's biggest rally, the Ripspokalen, and by '54 had found 10,000 grateful owners. Not bad for a first car. Saab realized that their new product was indeed special. It had a quality rare in mass-produced motors. It was a hoot to drive.
The 92 had no right to handle as well as it did. The steering is so direct you can sneeze and do a U-turn. 50% of the weight is over the front wheels, so they bite in really crisply on the corners. And all the time you've got this marvelous soundtrack from this demented two-stroke engine with 767 cc's. There's one word to describe this car, and that is jolly. Thoroughly jolly.
But just amusing the punters wasn't enough. Saab had a plan. They'd take their prodigy rallying, and in some style. The 92 proved unburstable, winning laurels all over Scandinavia. But it wasn't until the 60s, with the updated three-cylinder, two-stroke 96 model, that Saab Motorsport really started to fly. Outgunned in horsepower, its superb handling meant it could still take on the best rally cars from around the world and win. Eric on the Roof Clarkson spearheaded the Swedish challenge. He got his nickname from a popular Swedish children's book of the day, and because his gung-ho driving style often meant he ended up with his wheels in the air.
First of all, it was strong, you know, we seldom have problem, you know, it was going, and the rougher road it was, the better it was. And fantastic road holding, you know, and the noise, I think the noise make it go faster. For everybody could hear when you lift it up, you know, so you kept your foot on, if not they said you are a bloody chicken, you lift it up there and there. So that was one of the reasons I think we went quick. And special downhill, you know, in when you come down in Europe, down the Alps and things like that. If you were stupid enough, you know, it could go unbelievably quick. You lost time going up from Porsches and Mercedes and big cars, but you normally pick them up going downhill. You have to be wild when you have 750cc or 850cc, you know. You have to be on the limit more or less all the time. And if you want to win, you have to do that. I still said, it's 62, 63, 64, two-stroke, unbelievable. Nobody can beat it if you were stupid enough to keep your foot down.
And keep his foot firmly down he did. In a career which spanned from 1955 to 1967, he was seldom off the winner's podium. He won the prestigious RAC 3 times and the Monte Carlo twice, charging on to victory here in 1962. And 34 years on, he can still sweep a Saab through a gravel stage.
There were not many who made any money as a rally driver in the 60s. And, but we have a hell of a lot more fun, I believe, than they have today. Very good friendship. And we try always to stay in the same hotel and have good parties before and after the rally.
Summer's almost here, and the evening's getting warm. Screw my head on a different way. hug my pillow and try not to count the days.
But the two-stroke was showing its age, and by the late 60s, Saab had replaced it with a Ford V4. Same shape, just different engine. For a while, it continued the David and Goliath struggle with drivers like Per Eklund filling the trophy cabinet. But by the mid-70s, it was losing the battle against faster Fords, Fiats and Lancias. Soon, Saab would pull out of rallying forever. And even with a pearlescent paint job and flash alloys, they couldn't shift the last road-going V4s from the showrooms. An era was coming to an end as Saab abandoned the small car and went BMW bashing.
So next time you see your doctor, dentist, solicitor or accountant in his pinstripe suit at the wheel of his shiny turbocharged Saab, just remember that it was this weird little car that started it all. One frog that really did turn into a prince.
Hi, Steve. Top Gear's Special Investigations Bureau here. Listen, there's something real strange going on in suburbia. It's inexplicable, bizarre, and goddamn un-American. It needs your unique talents. Call my office. This message will inevitably self-destruct.
Deep in the heart of suburbia, the natives seem friendly enough. But I've learned the hard way that a well-manicured lawn, a cheery wave, and some suitably surreal garden decoration can mask a twisted mind. The case notes had talked about unnatural goings-on in garages. The lights weren't on, but there was definitely someone or something at home. From outside, the place looked long deserted, but I just knew that I'd find something sick inside.
What's going on here?
I've just made a few adjustments to the engine.
What have you done to this poor Ford Anglia?
Well, I've always liked Anglias for years, and then when I was at school I bought this one. Obviously the little 1000cc engine wasn't quite big enough. So I've changed it for a small block Chevy V8, changed all the rear suspension, chassis and the wheels, obviously to make because the standard wheels weren't big enough. The engine has got nitrous injection.
But why? Why have you done these things?
Well, basically to go faster, have a bit of fun and enjoyment, really.
But you've ruined a perfectly good little family car.
Yeah, some people say I have, but each their own, I think, and this is built for a purpose of going drag racing, so I think that's what it's all built for.
Things were obviously far, far worse than I could ever have imagined. Then, out of the blue, a message from headquarters.
Steve, another 2 cases just broke out. Get your ass over to Santa Pod. Oh, I nearly forgot. This message will...
Well, it's actually not a Ford Escort, it's a Sierra 4x4 Cosworth. It's got a full Cosworth engine in it, with all the usual refinements of a Cosworth, but it's 330 brake horsepower, it's 4-wheel drive. We had to shorten it by 6 inches to get the floor pan in, and made other alterations to get the body to suit the floor pan.
Why have you done it?
Because if I didn't do it, somebody else might have done it, so we wanted to be the first.
It all started with this car being a family car for a family in Uxbridge called the Hendersons, who drove it for 107,000 miles until I bought it. for £2,000, and then you know, it all kind of went very, very bad. I'll admit it, I've changed the engine. It was a 1300cc, now it's a 2-litre engine with big valve cylinder heads, performance rockers, produces about 130 horsepower instead of 45, so it's a little bit quicker.
But why have you done it?
I don't know if I can admit that.
I could believe that a Beetle could blow away a BMW M3, that an Escort could outpace an E-Type. But an Anglia that ate Astons, that was just too terrifying. My investigations have brought me no closer to the truth behind these dark forces. But of one thing I am certain. They must be stopped before it's too late. No! 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 No!
Next week, the Maserati Quattroporte, a supercar name, but by no means a supercar. And cut-price luxury, buying a second-hand Lexus. Plus, next Monday night, a Top Gear special investigation, the search for one of the most sought-after racing cars of all time, the pride of Nazi Germany, the 1939 Mercedes W154 Silver Arrow.